What's going on, everybody? This is U2Easy, and right now you're watching a quest walkthrough for none other than Underground Pass. So first things first is we're starting out here in our Dugny. We're going to go ahead and talk to King Lathis. This is a great site, RSC Wiki. Always resort back to this in case you find yourself lost. But really, a lot of the material here you can get the bow, the arrows, the pickaxe, and the rope all in this shop. Make sure to charge your prayer and make sure to bring plenty of food as well as armor and weapon. So we're going to make our way over into the danger zone. Make sure to bring a teleportation device, a charged ammi, or runes for teleport, and away we go. Alright, so anytime you see this guy, means that it's a decent spot to train for if you have 40 plus defense. And anytime you see this guy, also known as Mr. Smithy, it's a great spot for low defense pures if you need to train some combat. So throughout this quest, we're going to be checking in with our tried and true guide, Koftik, who's going to help us in many ways as we adventure through the Underground Pass. So it doesn't matter which way you go once you get in here, you just have to go over some rocks and climb some agility obstacles. The higher the agility, the easier this is going to be, as well as all agility obstacles in this whole quest. As you can see, I'm 60 agility, thanks to URL's agility competition that he hosted about a week before I did this quest. And just know that I've done this quest successfully on other accounts with as low as 25 agility with no problem. So we're going to make our way to Koftik here, and he's going to hook us up with a damp cloth. We are going to wrap that cloth around an arrow and then light it on fire. Alright, so we got our fire arrow ready to go, ready to take this bridge out. We make ourselves over these agility obstacles up to the tip of the cliff, and we go ahead and equip our bow. No, it's not old school. You will not have 2 additional inventory items when you equip your bow on RuneScape Classic. We need to go ahead and use that arrow with the old bridge, and the rest will be taken care of by the automatic animation that happens. You'll see here. Shout out to Tavihan, our ranger model. So we got ourselves over the bridge. Just an FYI, these blessed spiders, so first you want to mine that rock for the next agility or next obstacle, and then as you can see, there's a nice training spot if you have 40 plus defense. Those level 35 spiders, they're called blessed spiders, but you're going to need a plank in order to cross that. And make sure to always get one for the way over. As you can see, there's another pit there, so go ahead and check those spots out. And from here, we are going to take those rocks that we just mined right next to the bridge, and we're going to use those on the actual swamp, and our character is going to be able to make its way over across. Next up is a stalactite. This is where your rope comes into hand, and we're going to go ahead and use that rope with the stalactite, and our guy is going to Tarzan mode over these stalactites. No problem. Oh yeah, we finally made it to the grill maze. Now this thing can be quite a doozy, but just make sure your map is oriented from north to south as shown, and you just simply click on the fourth one from the bottom, third one from the bottom, another third one from the bottom, then you go down to the second, then you go down to the first, and it's going to put you right next to the lever, which then you simply pull, and your character will be able to move through the shutter gate. Alright, so now we get to our first agility obstacle, which requires a little bit of agility. And so yes, we want to try to disarm those traps. We make our way into this area. You actually don't need to grab a plank here, but I did anyway. And make sure that you can actually get through, so you have to kill these zombies if needed. We're going to be coming back over here after we get the orbs, you'll see in the next part of the quest. But we have to make our way over here, and this requires a little bit of agility. Alright, so here we go. We have our 4 areas that are going to require a little bit of reading from that guide that I recommend you have up while you're completing this quest. So first up is the North Passage. We're simply just going to take a plank, actually 2 planks, make sure you have 2. You're going to grab that orb, and then you're going to use another plank on the passage and be able to safely cross back. The Northwest Passage is one of sheer brute force. You just have to pound your way through, fighting against some level 58 ogres, and you'll get to the next Orb of Light, and of course, fight your way back to the main entrance. Now the West Passage is one of trials and tribulations. As you can see, you have to try to disarm these tripwires, only to fail, and it will sling every single trap that you have already passed over, and you will take a decent amount of damage if you've made it far. But just keep trying, and you will eventually make it through. As you can see, even 60 agility, you're gonna fail. So it really comes down to RNG or luck. After 87 attempts, we finally made it through, and then you can just go back, and of course you can still fail on the way back, so be careful and just make sure that you're not too low of HP. But the lower HP you are, the less the traps will hit you if you do fail, similar to Barbarian Outpost if you're training agility there. The last one is pretty easy. You just have to use your rope, and you basically are able to hold yourself over the next trap, and then you make it back to the main area. So like I said, we're gonna make our way back over to this furnace that we passed first, and we're gonna use all of these orbs on the furnace. Make your way back over to the main area where you did all the agility obstacles and grab a plank. You're going to need it for the next part. From there, we're good to go down the well. We're checking in with our boy Koftik here, and he seems to be suffering from a little bit of delirium. But you can search this crate, and you're going to find some fish and some pies in there. Highly recommend grabbing those. And we're going to proceed west, but don't forget the rope, like me. And then go back over to the west area once you grab it. So we're going to have to pick lock the railings in the northeastern cell and search the soil to enter the tunnel. Then we proceed along the path towards the wall grill, which you have to use a rope with first, and then you can use the function on it. This is where it gets interesting. So if you have 50 thieving, you go south and you're able to pick lock the railings. If you don't, you have to go through some more agility obstacles, as you can see there. But since we have 50 thieving, we're going to go ahead and go south and take the easier route. These are actually also pretty interesting for low defense pures because they're basically all hit points. So they're relatively higher level NPCs, but they don't hit as much. We're going to proceed past, go through the railing, and then use the plank on the passage to safely pass through. Here you're going to find a wormhole. Highly recommend grabbing one of those. I'm sure it will respawn if you need more food. And we're going to make our way up the ledge over towards the unicorn. So you'll see here, I tried to go up here and realized that I'm gonna need something more than a pickaxe to move that boulder. So what we're gonna need here is to search the railings, and we're gonna find a piece of railing which we can then prop up against the boulder. Sorry, unicorn, had to do it. Gonna need that horn. Make sure to search it, grab the horn. And then we're gonna proceed up the ledge, and what do you know? Our boy Koftik is here. up the path and through the railings, you find a lot of zombies and undead ones, which we're just gonna pass right along. So on this part, make sure that you talk to the bearded paladin first, and he throws a ton of stuff at you. Too much stuff for me to even carry. Once we talk to him and get the goods, we simply kill him and his friends and gather the coat of arms, which we'll use in the next part of the quest. I'm not sure if these can be safe spotted. I would imagine they can. I see a barrel there. So if you're lower level or lower defense and you need to safe spot them, I believe it is possible. Once you got the coat of arms, go ahead and search for traps on the next agility obstacle. Doesn't matter which side you go through. And we're going to proceed west along to the Flames of Zamrock and the Door of Ivan, or the Gate of Ivan. From here, we're just going to throw in all of the coat of arms as well as the unicorn horn, and that will enable us to open the gate. Once you've made it to the second level, all you have to do is simply go down the stairs. But as you can see, I took a little bit of a detour and I went, or I tried to, but I fell immediately. But now once you get down here, there's a lot of stuff down here. There's Soulless, which are level 24, decent to train on. There's also some food spawns in the middle here, so if you find yourself in a crutch down here and you don't have any food, just come along to the stew, meat and salmon spawns, and I'm sure you could be able to load up there. But essentially you see me heading south here. And I took a bit of a detour. This is unnecessary to go up the ladder and see the witch. First, we have to go to the dwarf camp. So go back down, and it's all the way to the southwest on the ground level. Once you make it to the dwarf camp, make sure that you talk to each one of the dwarfs, starting with whichever one that you want. I started with Nyloof, and then proceeded along to the other two. I went ahead and grabbed the tinderbox and the food from Nyloof. The tinderbox is given to you by Clank, and then we're going to make our way back up to the witch. So going east and then south, you'll find the ladder there, and then we'll make our way to the witch. But I want to point out that there's multiple routes when you get up to the second floor. Some of them require an agility obstacle, as you can see to the left, but to the right, that is a free passage. So always take the free passage if you have the option, because it's going to prevent you from falling down and taking damage and extending the amount of time that you're in the underground pass trying to complete this quest. So take a look on your map, walk up to the sections and check to see if there is an agility obstacle, and if there is, see if there's another way to get to that same desired location without the use of the agility obstacle. As you can see here, I'm going a little bit of a detour, but I'm saving myself the chance of falling. And we finally found that cat. And luckily, unlike Gertrude's cat, this one is not going to scratch and hiss. It's just going to simply roll into your arms, and you're going to be able to, oh, that's why, because it's sleeping. So you just pick up the sleeping cat and you head back to the witch. So northwest to find the cat, and then southeast back to the witch's house. So from here, all you have to do is you throw the cat into the door and it wakes up and starts meowing. The witch is then going to notice the cat and pick it up and say, "Oh, my poor kitty." Now you're going to be able to sneak in the door because the witch is occupied, and simply search the chest, and inside you'll find a journal as well as another couple of items, as you can see here. If you are into the lore, into the storyline, I highly recommend reading through this old journal. It actually has some pretty interesting background on the quest. Pretty dark and twisted stuff here. But essentially it talks about all of the different items that you're going to need to get to form the final doll of Ivan. Once you're good with that, you can proceed west towards the demons, and you're essentially going to kill them one by one, picking up the amulets that they drop along the way. So after you smack up this high level 98 one, you'll see that that level 78 is basically just going to beg for mercy. No, please don't kill me, just take the Ammy. So you just simply walk over there, he hands you the Ammy, you walk back after you have all 3 amulets in your inventory, and you simply open the chest. And you're simply going to exit the same way you entered. Here, I'm trying to see if you can safe spot them, which I think you can, but it would be a little bit of a disturbance since you're dragging yourself into the next demon's pit. But you're essentially going to go back down to the ground floor and make your way back to the dwarf camp and talk to our boy Clank, who's going to hook us up with Clank's gauntlets, as well as a tinderbox, so make sure you have one of those. But I do want to mention that it's highly recommended to do the drop trick for at least a few pairs of these gauntlets in the case that you lose them, because if you complete the quest and you want to come back down here for another pair of Clank's gauntlets, he's going to charge you 5,000 gold every pair. And shout out to Nemroff, who allowed us to figure that out the hard way. Make some room in your inventory, grab a bucket, and simply empty the barrel. It will fill up your bucket with the dwarf brew, which we're going to then use in the next part of the quest. We're going to make our way east over towards the tomb of Ivan, and we're going to use the dwarf brew on it and then set it on fire. And there we have it, Ivan's ashes, which we're going to then rub into the doll of Ivan. From there, simply go north and you'll find another railing that we have to search to get into, and we are going to enter the spider pit. This also looks like a pretty decent training spot, just an FYI, but here we're going to kill Calrag, and our player will automatically smear the poisoned blood into the doll of Ivan. Make yourself all the way northwest, and you're going to go through this crazy railing system and up the rubble, over an agility obstacle, and make your way towards the Solus. Save yourself the time and trouble and just make your way all the way over to this specific Solus here. Make sure that your Clank gauntlets are equipped, and you're going to be able to get the next quest item, which is the remains of a dove, also known as Ivan's conscience. from there, we're just going to make our way south until we start to see some of these disciples of Ivan wearing their red robes that we are definitely going to kill them for, because this is the easiest way to get them. So I highly recommend getting at least one pair, but I've gotten 2 pairs on each one of my accounts. But you have to make that decision as to what you want more. Do you want the robes or the clank gauntlets more? I myself prefer a mixture of both. But then we're going to proceed along the path until we get to Ivan. As you can see here, I'm making room in my inventory, but it's really not necessary if you anticipate eating a lot of food. You essentially have to use the Doll of Ivan on the Pit of the Damned, but you get blasted by Ivan blasts along the way. So you have to spam click food and try to get that doll into the pit. So we had to throw in the towel on that attempt, but rest assured, there's food spawns to the east that we will be loading up on, healing all the way, and making sure that we have plenty of food for the next attempt. Round 2. Fight! We finally did it. We were able to throw the doll into the pit, and as you can see, that second attempt was much easier than the first, so it really does come down to luck and RNG. May the odds be in your favor. I just so happen to have exactly 3 slots for the staff and runes to fall into my inventory. Our tried and true guide is going to lead us out, and we're going to make our way back over to Eastern Ardugny and talk to the king to finish up the quest. We did it. We completed Underground Pass, got a little bit of attack and agility EXP, as well as the Staff of Ivan, and some Clank Gauntlets. Next up, Legends Quest. Thanks for watching, and take care.